So it's Monday morning, it's the 4th of August, and it's about 2 o'clock. I'm under this bridge admiring these graffiti, I mean, you know, in Paris, I saw a whole community. I don't know where they were from Eastern Europe, but they had built a whole little township under a bridge, and I guess they wanted to be together. So this looks like a good place for building something, where people can live. So I'm on my way to the countryside. There's the river is called Venoge. And it's on the other side, and it's kind of a small river, but people go fishing and things and bathing, and in fact now there's lots of people during these hot days. Today it's not that hot, so I can walk normally. I take a bus. So this is a bit of a hill, but it's nice because when you get on top of the hill, you feel you've achieved something, because you can look at the countryside from on top. And this is the road that goes to the beach, the Lake Léman. I haven't ever walked to the lake, but I know that it can be done. So today I'm going to try walking to some degree. I just want to have a look at the river and see how it's doing today. See, there's no bins here. I have this problem because I see usually there's lots of rubbish all over the place, exactly in this spot. See, there should be a bin right here. So that when people go in, they have an excuse to be clean, to help the environment. So I've never been swimming in this river. I don't, I usually like swimming in lakes. And so as you see, it's a very beautiful spot where you can just chill. Yes, well, I've never been up there, so I know some people go swimming every day in this spot. Okay. Dear God. See, the thing that I admire is that about this place is that, you know, you have a farmer here who is cultivating his land. I mean, there are more than one, quite a few of them are cultivating things. But this one in particular looks very, because he has bees as well, I think. So that's the beauty of it. And then next to it, there are all these buildings that are modern and, you know, garages and things. So this is the farm here. It's a little one. It's a forest. I mean, this forest continues down there. And I was just reading about Ecublan. Ecublan can be reached by bus. See this, the bus that's going down. Well, you know, I was planning to come on this, let's say, trip. I mean, walk. Because this is something that I do quite often. Even though I have a pain, but I try to, well, you know, it's only arthritis. And if you have avocados are really great, you know. That inflammation goes down really quickly for me. So I recommend it. There are these two sentinels here. On Sundays, the entire family is coming here, walking and actually, some of the social workers where I live are from Ecublan. And some of them are very blonde. So that's quite strange. Because, I mean, people who are normally not all blonde, you know, very few of them are. So, I mean, they look Germanic, you know, what you would expect to see in Germany. In Basel, people are blonde. Apparently Napoleon was here in the 1800s. So that explains everything. I like this this view from here. Haven't quite gotten on top of the hill. As you see, the river is behind these trees. And this is a field that is being cultivated. And that over there is a industrial site. I mean, I make an effort to go out and walk and do stuff and have interests, because you know, otherwise what are you going to do? I've seen so many people just like scrolling away. You can spend hours like that, and or you can think about, you know, I like me, you know, I often think about online businesses. How can I ever get to have one going, you know? You need to have a mentor, and a part of I don't have an ID, I don't have a bank account. I used to have them, but now I don't. So, you know, I don't have a computer. It's not possible to have all these flashy people who are successful in having an online business. That's beautiful, you know. I like this building because there's a thing written on it, decision. Let's see, you know, and there's a cafe there. God knows what that is. You know how I walked in many cities, you know. I was in Frankfurt. I was walking round and round, and I didn't have a phone back then, and I couldn't do videos like this. I had an exhibition in Frankfurt at Main in the what you call it, the Gewerke, the Workers' Union building, and I was going there. I just found it by chance. You know, there was this window with children's playthings in it. And I thought, oh, well, this must be a nursery. And it was actually a nursery, but it turned out that it was the nursery for children of the migrants, you know, babies and all sorts of toddlers, and from all countries, mainly African. And so I was thinking, maybe I'll go in, you know, it looks nice. I usually don't take such steps, you know, of going inside a building, because, you know, when you look at it from outside, it's one thing. For instance, this building with the glass structure is very interesting. I wonder what's going on there. But I would never go in there to see. So, you know, this is the farm that is very busy because I see people going, you know, cars and things over here all the time. So that going in the door there, at first, you know, the people there at the counter weren't very friendly, and then I discovered there was this woman. She was an Afghan woman, young girl, pretty woman, and she wasn't wearing a hijab, and she was working there, and she spoke Farsi, her own language, the Afghan language. She spoke Urdu, she spoke German, she spoke English. Really amazing, you know. And I said, how did you learn all these languages? Well, you know, people say, oh, I learned it because I watched a lot of films. Some people do that, you know. They're good at picking up languages. So this is something that really gets me curious, this building here. I wonder what's going on here. So, and then there's lots of for rent signs, you know, like that orange thing over there says alloué, which is which means to rent, for rent. So see, this is the top of the hill. Situation. I made it. Hey, I'm so surprised when I can actually reach the top here. And you see, it even goes higher because there's this bridge here, and I don't know, there's a kind of more community type buildings over there. But this is kind of a sprawling Victoria house. It's very attractive. I like it. I guess businesses go on in here. So, you know, when I see the sign alloué, which means for rent, I think of Dubai, because Dubai is full of these little offices that they rent. And I had actually tried to get a business going over there, but it was complicated, I thought, and so I left it. And so that's another farm here in front of me. And there's these people cleaning. It's now 3 o'clock probably, you know. I can't believe they're cleaning at this time of the day. Okay, so and you see the mountains today. beautiful, beautiful day, and it's cloudy, so I get a good breeze. So anyway, I was thinking about Frankfurt am Main. She was called Zevari, Zohra Zevari, and Zevari, she was working there as a secretary, but you know, there were lots of other people as well working at the counter, and eventually I met Frau Hubert, who was a small blonde, but she was in charge of everything. She said to me later on, "Oh, you know, I've promoted so many artists, mainly events, music, and things like that. So she took me under her wing in a sense, because I was carrying my paintings all over the place. I mean, this bag I bought in Florence, which is an architect's bag, you know, cartel, and I saw this cartel in Silvana's shop. Silvana was somebody who promoted me in Florence, and so, you know, she noticed this bag and she said, "Oh, I see you're a painter." I was at that time sleeping in a hostel called Frankfurt, and it was close, right next to the train station, in an old building. It was very nice. I had lots of fun just watching people. I think it was such a good time then, you know, to watch people have beer outside and in groups. And well, you know, I went to Frankfurt actually for another reason, because I was looking for an Iranian bank. You know, I was thinking, well, maybe I can reach my account or something. But of course this Iranian bank was closed, saying that for years after the revolution, you know, everything was closed, and you know, it used to, in its heyday, it used to be a you know, Iranian banks everywhere. I mean, there used to be commerce going on. So here I am on top of the hill. It's beautiful. But you see, if you go on top of this bridge, then you get even a better view. I wonder how people get here by by doing their bicycles, you know. So it's awesome, actually. So I was talking about Frankfurt. Yeah, Frankfurt was really very busy during the summer months. You know, lots of people coming and going, and I mean, it's a hub. I mean, this was before COVID. It was 2018, and see, the hill goes up over there, and so I was really into that city. For a long time I wanted to stay there. And this was because I had gone there to look for a bank, and then I found this place, the Workers' Union, and so I did an exhibition because of Miss Hubert, I don't know if she was married or not, but I love these colors here. You see, I've never been up there. So she gave me an exhibition. I had so much stuff, and in fact I went to Paris and brought some more stuff. My big paintings, and so today I'm going to try something new. I've never been here. That is. She was very nice in her decision, and she asked me for nothing. She was very helpful in organizing the thing. She did us a great favor. I mean, people from my culture, you know. So this is Passerelle de la Pierre. Oh, there are benches here. Ah, super. So I had this exhibition in Frankfurt am Main in the Workers' Union. Oh, this is a cemetery. Someone's working here. Bonjour. Ooh, it's not a big one, but see all these people who've lived here, they all have French names. Madeleine Amman, Christine Delessert. Bonjour. Non, mais je le trouvais comme ça par hasard ici. Et je m'en vais. Merci. So that was my little adventure there. But look at this, I mean the colors here. I mean these colors are for autumn. And the view is amazing. I have to take my... Look at this tree, this is such a gorgeous tree. I mean, I've seen trees like this in Germany, you know, very huge. Prix Acier, la centre de construction de Acier passerelle. So they've constructed this passerelle. Oh gosh, I found a new place for a picnic, because the seats, you see these benches here where you get to sit and have and enjoy the view. You know, the thing is that you don't... Oh, here's a little bird. What's this bird doing here? Huh. Hello, bird. This is so tame. Beautiful. So being on top of a hill, it's gorgeous. And I don't know what that is. I think it's a school of some kind. This big building. I'm not going to investigate because there's a long way to go to the beach. I'm looking for the beach. Who knows if I'll make it. But, you know, I have to perhaps get a bus. So you see, the houses here are kind of like the ones I saw in Chapelle, with the funny kind of hat roofs. And so Ms. Hubert, Frau Hubert, was a big opportunity for me. She was so nice. In fact, she was the first person who bought the painting of what do you call it? Notre Dame. I had this painting, and it was very beautiful watercolor. Actually, some girls who had worked in my studio, they had worked on it, so you know, they were doing miniature work and things like that. No, I wonder where these steps go. There's these steps going up. Well, what? They go nowhere. Joli automne. So, Frau Hubert organized a sort of opening. You know, people bought my book, A Time for Dreamers, and they also bought paintings and things. Frau Hubert is always on my mind. And then there was also Susanna. Susanna was a beautiful blonde, I don't know, about 27, 28, and she had 2 children who were just as beautiful, and she had a partner. So Frau Hubert asked her if she could give me hospitality for 10 days in her apartment, and I was there in that apartment for some days. Otherwise, I was in a tent normally, you know, which was good as well. Later on, I found this place called Eva, That in 2019, it was a Frauenkirche. It was a church for women, and that was really a weird experience because just as the communists, I mean, Frau Hubert was a communist, obviously. It was all a left organization, so everything was kind of in the open, you know. I mean, you couldn't do anything without everybody knowing what's going on. It was very uncomfortable in that I don't like that, you know. And because there were lots of Afghans, they were also curious, you know, about women. Unfortunately, they have that attitude. And so, because I was a woman on my own, they didn't like that. You know, you have to have somebody tagging along. So I was thinking, well, you know, I should go around this what do you call it? This town, I mean this city, and I was carrying all my stuff with me, tent and lots of other stuff, and so I was touristing in the city, but you know, on the outside. I never went inside anything. I must say there were some people who actually invited me to their homes, but I didn't go inside. This is a publicity for sports, and so I'm gonna go down here. I love these old buildings here. These used to be villages. So this Café Vaudoise, I've never tried it. It's always been closed when I reach it, but today's a Monday, and maybe they're even closed because of the summer, because they go on a holiday. So it's a restaurant, and usually, you know, they have their the tables outside. So I like this. Okay, so it's all about parking here. But you know what attracted me is that this is a kind of an old style building, and you see there must have been farms before. I mean, look at this roof. It's kind of particular, it's kind of different. And then right next to it there's these new apartments. I just want to see the door. You see, this must have been a kind of a farmhouse, and I imagine that little fenêtre window was probably what you call it, wine serving thing. Oh, there's a sign. Oh, there's another one. So you see, I never go into places like this because, you know, I'm just doing it for you because I think I should this is nice, very nice, quiet. You see, I was looking for a house and I went to see an apartment in Bussigny, and it was very nice, but I think, I don't know how long it hadn't been lived in, so it was a kind of not very healthy as far as I was concerned. There was kind of a and it was very expensive as well. It was nearly 2,000 francs, but it was a whole apartment. I thought, oh well, I could you know, easily share it with other people. But then, because of the sort of certain thing that wasn't attractive to me, I didn't pursue it. But also, I mean, the price wasn't attractive either. Otherwise, it was a good opportunity to get into a place. So you see, this here is a little waterway, water tap, and this sign says that it's sort of drinkable. So I'm gonna freshen up. I guess this was for the horses. So I'm glad I made it up here. Now I have to go downhill. Bonjour. So this sort of thing, you know, I've been here during the winter months, and now I'm doing it during the summer. But I do miss Frankfurt. I was so lucky, I was so healthy. You know, I lived rough. I took my tent with me, and like wherever I could, I just put my tent up and slept the night, and then off I went in the morning. So I found this place, the Eva church, which was for women, and most of them were, how do you say it, homosexuals, because, well, you know, women with a brain are supposed to be, you know, and in, you know, liking other women. So there's this kind of a weird situation over there. This is a boulangerie in another place I go to usually. Merci. Le Pain. But it's closed. Who knows, for the summer maybe. They're doing works here. So, I mean, I found a lot of situations where it was kind of a segregation, you know, men on one side, women on the other side. What a nice color this building has. So now it's going downhill, and I mean, when I was in Frankfurt I was feeling perfectly okay, but later on in 2020, when I was 62, I felt, gosh, I need one of these things to carry me, although, you know, I don't know whether it was being overweight or what, but I wasn't feeling that well. So, so 60 or 59, 60 is still a young age. You know, you can get away with efforting, you know, going uphill, going downhill. But once you start to get to over 60, then you have to be careful, because I mean, I didn't feel old, you know. I mean, until recently. I've been so lucky in the 10 years that I was in France. I didn't go to the doctor very often. I just went once or twice to get pills for my blood pressure. But you know, when I was in Frankfurt doing that exhibition, I was completely in health. I suppose it depends on your mood as well, you know. If you're you know, in an adventurous mood. I thought, oh my God, you know, this is the chance of my life. Actually, later on, I met somebody, a man from a German who looked like a Red Indian. He told me he was so amazing in the, you know, he didn't look like the tall blonde, you know, and in fact the tall blonde doesn't exist really in Germany. Maybe this is more in Eastern Europe. I've seen more Ukrainians who are tall blonde, and that sort of thing. But so this man told me, oh, you're coming to Germany because you knew somebody from Germany. And I said, yes, in fact, I knew a few people in Italy. And they were certainly inspiring me. So this is Ecublan. So, I mean, I didn't know anyone from Switzerland, and this is not why I came to Switzerland. I didn't know a single person. I had some German friends, in fact, in Italy. I got to know Jürgen, who was a PhD student from Frankfurt, and he was, you know, he was with an Italian girl, Jürgen. So, I mean, I was kind of happy to. Oh my God, this is my favorite boulangerie here on the way. So I'm gonna make a break. I'm gonna have a coffee. You know, it's just a discovery I'm making now. So Jürgen was inspiring me because he was a what you call it, PhD student, and then he went off to Africa. I didn't know that Germany had been in Africa, you know, and as in having colonies there, but apparently they did. So that's why he went to Africa. I didn't know that. I thought back then, you know, I was 25. I thought Germany was not like England, you know. They didn't have colonies all over the place. And so that's where I've come from. I have to wait for the red sign, the green sign. And oh, okay, yeah. Thank you. And he's being finding that solution, you know, going to Germany, going to Africa, and working in the UN was so wonderful. I thought, oh, here's somebody who's doing something useful, you know, and very much a winner. So I'm gonna go in here and get a cup of coffee. Bonjour. Merci. Je prends un café, s'il vous plaît.
Oui.
Oui. Ah ah. Un café allongé. Okay, I'm gonna have to get my money. Wow. So I'm gonna do a little break here.